Hi, my name is Russell Stutley, world leader pressure point fighting, national boxing coach for Cambodia, and I've got a mountain full of downgrades as well. That don't matter, does it? What we're here to do is here to learn some stuff. So let's talk about what I look for. Hi there. Now then, what do I look for? Or rather, what do I look to see is missing? Might be worth it. See, here's the thing. When you watch somebody doing what they're doing, let's make it nice and easy. Let's think of a boxer. We all know what a boxer's doing, and you see them working away. I like to watch them do some shadows and hit the heavy bag. I'll say 20-30 seconds of shadows, a minute or two on the bag, and I'll know exactly what I need to work on. Whether that be a real boxer, kickboxer, mixed martial arts guy, self-defense enthusiast, martial artist, traditional, whatever, it doesn't matter. I need to see that. I know what to work on. How, why, what? Well, experience one, and two, I really do know what I'm looking for and what I'm not looking for, if that makes sense. Now, when you see somebody working the bag, most times you see clips online and things like that, and you see them from the waist up going bang, bang, bang. You might see a full body clip. Most people are watching the punches land and all that sort of jazz. When you watch somebody on a bag, quite often you'll be watching the punches land, because you go where the noise is. You have a look, see what's going on, you see rah, 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 bang, bang, bang. That's what you look at. I don't. The first thing I look at is their feet. Why? Well, the feet tell me most everything I need to know. Why? Well, it's quite simple. Think of it this way, right? We know from balance, and what I show in all of my courses, I've mentioned it for years and years and years. If you affect one joint in the body, you affect all the other joints in the body. We show it off a simple technique where we'll say, like, put something on the wrist and the whole body starts to move all over the place. All the other joints are affected. So, knowing that to be true, let's say, for example, that their foot is out of balance. They might be on the edge of one foot. They might have lifted their toes up. Whatever it may be, I look to see where the balance is on that front foot usually. If I see that when they throw a backhand, that the weight goes to the outside of the foot and I can see it physically lift up. Some people, when you look, you'll see daylight come out underneath their toes or underneath the ball of their foot. You'll see it happen. You know then that if I've thrown a backhand and on this side I'm on the outer edge of my foot, I have to recover that foot before I can throw the hook. Now, it might only make a millisecond of difference, but that fraction of time that it takes to recover your balance to be able to then throw the hook could mean the difference between landing it, knocking them out, and missing entirely, and getting caught yourself. So it's those little things like that that I look for straight away. So I look at the feet. I'm not too worried about what the top half of the body's doing, because that is more easily corrected from the bottom half. I'll say that again because it's very important. What they do with the top half of the body is more easily corrected from the bottom half. In other words, if you get the bottom half right, the top half tends to look after itself. I'll say that again because it's really important. If you get the bottom half of the body right, the top half tends to look after itself. It's really important that you remember that. Really embed that in your head. So what I look for their feet, I look for their balance, I look for their placement. I look for where their toes are pointing in relation to where the strike is going. So, extreme example, if my foot's pointing out that way and I try to punch that way, it's a bit dumb, isn't it? Because if my foot's pointing that way, that means my body wants to go over there. Right? You don't walk with your feet out like this. So you've got to look at those sort of things. And you'll see that a lot of people have their back foot pointed out that way, and then they have to rotate it round to point to where they want the punch to go. Takes time. Why not have the foot pointed in the right direction in the first place, or much closer to the right direction? To really push off, you need to lift the heel on the back foot. Knowing that to be true, why don't you have the heel up slightly anyway? Then you're already ready to go. It's those little things. If you've got a straight leg, you need to bend it to be able to move. So you've got to have a slight bend in the knees all the time anyway. Even when you stood up straight, you want to have a slight bend in the knees so you're ready to go. All of these things are important. Very, very important. And they're the first things I look at. Then, and only then, do I start to see what the top half of the body is doing. Because that's more easily corrected. Let's say, for example, somebody's very wide with their punches. Well, we can always bring them in. Let's say somebody who leans over with the punches, we can always correct that. But if the feet are always wrong and you're forever trying to correct the top half of their body, but the bottom half keeps going wrong, you're going to have a hell of a job correcting the top half of the body. Now this is vitally important, and if you are training alone with all these lockdowns and crap all over the place, it's something you really need to look at on yourself. Video yourself, video your feet only while you're doing stuff, so that you can really concentrate on the lower half. So just video from the waist down even. Get to look at what you're actually doing feet wise, where they're pointing, how they're moving. When people are moving around doing their shadows, if I hear like clump, 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 and they're like a herd of baby elephants, they're not exactly gliding around, are they? They're not sliding, they're not smooth in their movement. If, well, as they're moving, I hear that clump, clump, and then you can see their head going doo-dum, 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 as they're moving around, and you're getting this up and down because that's the way they're moving, you can tell that they're, you know, they've got a lot of work to be done. That bottom half is what's doing it. If you see somebody sort of like moving side to side when they're moving, that bottom half isn't right, unless they're deliberately doing that to move out the way of stuff. But you understand what I mean. So it's very, very important that that bottom half is correct. After that, everything else will start to figure itself out. So I look for that. Then on the top half, I just look for the fact that they're trying to hit what they're aiming at. Another case in point. You watch people on the heavy bag, 99 times out of 100, they're just hitting it. And if you say, go and hit the bag, I want to see what you're doing, you'll see them, they try that bit harder, they put a bit more oomph into it, you hear a lot more, boom, like that, and you see them, they try so much harder because they want to impress you with what they can do, they want to impress you with their power, and they're just hitting the bag, not even aiming. I say to people, imagine you go to the pistol range, gun range, rifle range, whatever you want to call it. You walk in there with a handgun, target's down there, and you just walk in and go. People go, what the fuck are you doing? I'm just shooting. We're supposed to aim at the target. Oh, I don't do that in my training, I just hit the bag. See what I mean? You've got to focus and hit what you're aiming at. So I look for people on their shadows, I look for them to concentrate on where they're going. I want to see where their eyes are. You see a lot of people eyes down looking at their own feet because they don't know where their own feet are and then punching. You're really going to fight like that? Looking at the floor and punching? You see people on the heavy bag, not aiming, they're just swinging at the bag, trying to look good, trying to sound good. It's bullshit. You've got to aim small so you can miss small. You've got to concentrate on what you're doing, even if you're doing some shadows, especially you fighters out there. You see, you all switch off doing shadows, or you're looking at yourself in the mirror going, yeah, I look good, yeah, all that sort of bull. You've got to be concentrating. You've got to treat your shadows like a real fight. You've got to visualise that person there, throwing punches at you, moving, covering, all sorts of stuff you've got to do. Same when you're on the bag. If you're just doing the bag work to practice it, unless it's a specific skill set that you're training and you're doing bag work where you're doing like a full round on the bag, treat it like a fight. I've heard people say, yeah, it's not like a fight because the bag don't move. You are? What do you mean the bag don't move? You make sure the bag is moving all the time. If it's not moving, you push it, get it moving, so your target is moving. If the bag's stationary, you just stand there in a stationary bag, what do you think you're practicing? What do you think you're training? What do you think you're learning? Nothing. You should be moving all the time. You should be moving around, picking your target, being exact with what you're doing. Simple as that. And if you're not doing that, you're not training in the most efficient way. This is why I say to you on my courses and things like that, we get you there in the most efficient way possible, the quickest possible way, the quickest route to success. Because we cut out all the bull, all the crap, and focus you, laser focus you on what you should and shouldn't be doing. And if you train correctly, it's intensity. And I don't just mean you go nuts, crazy, look at me, I work harder than anybody else. That's just a part of intensity. I'm talking about intensity of learning, intensity of focus. Intensity means many things when you apply it to your training. It's not just about, oh, I'm sweating more than everybody else, I put in much more effort. Yeah, we all put in effort, but it's controlled and applied in the right manner. So you can still be intense and sweating more than anybody else, get your heart rate up higher than anybody else, keep it going longer than anybody else, but in the right way as well. And imagine then how quickly your skills develop. When you train right and do it right, your skills go through the roof real quick. Anyway, I've gone on and on. I can't show you yet because the gym's closed down. Hopefully I have access to something tomorrow or maybe in the next few days. Anyway, press the like, the subscribe thing and the bell and all that lot. Share it everywhere. Tell people, even if you disagree with me, come and argue. Don't care. Tell me it's a load of bollocks. I'll argue you back because I know I'm right. I can prove I'm right. Can you prove I'm wrong? There's one for you. You want to say I'm wrong, you prove me wrong, because I can prove I'm right. Anyway, that's it. Right, let you go. See you later. Thanks for watching.